Hello, everyone. Welcome to my 2020 New Year's Eve, I guess, celebration. It's always good to celebrate life, and it's always great to celebrate amongst friends and you all here. And I do have a special guest, but before I announce my special guest, I just want to invite everyone to be encouraged, please, to comment on the feed. I'm actually going to ask a poll, a question, kind of a poll, and you just have to do a simple yes or no in the feed here. So welcome. I want to welcome everyone here with us, and I'd like you all to give a warm welcome to Mr. Adam TC. Adam, say hi.
Hello. How's everybody doing?
So Adam, I don't know if did you get to invite any of your Facebook followers and friends at all?
I posted, I actually shared what you posted earlier. So I don't know if anybody saw it, but I was kind of busy. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we could do is we can still always ask them, and you can always still ask them to come on. Oh, there we go. I had it on here. So I'm going to keep the feed going on my phone so that we could see anyone. I think there was a Mike Gutierrez that just joined us, I think. And anyone else that joins, there's a little bit of a delay, I was telling people earlier. So yeah, Marcos. Hi, Marcos. Thanks for joining us. So Adam, tell us a little bit about how your year went.
How my year went?
Yeah.
This past year?
Yeah, we're on 2020.
Pre-COVID or now? From
Whatever
January
you'd like to share.
1st?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, my year went interesting.
Okay.
Well, actually, I could say during this this whole COVID thing,
mm-hmm.
It allowed me to, while I was home for a couple of months, it allowed me to play more.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, because there were no gigs, and so I kind of buckled down at home and was able to play my saxophone.
Yeah.
Daily, pretty much. And, get up every morning, just sit down and write, chart things out, play my pop songs, and record them, and then post them up on Facebook. So that was really great.
Mm-hmm.
And, tighten up different things that I really wanted to, that, the time was allowed. So I was happy about that, although it was a very sad time because a lot of people were home and out of work, and but I made the best out of it with my music, and for me it was I would say positive, being home.
I love that. So you just really helped me segue into the very first question, which was a poll that I'd like to put out to everyone that's viewing right now. And Greg, thank you very much. I got your comment. So the question is, do you have at least one thing that you are grateful for personally from 2020? And
wow.
Just one thing. And
just one.
Yeah. So if everyone could just put a yes or a no on the feed.
Mm-hmm.
And if people have 3 things, put a yes or a no. So while people are doing that, and I encourage everyone, again, I'm going to remind you, I'm going to encourage you to kind of engage with us and put your answer on the feed. I would like to seriously take that poll and use this as a statistic, because what I find is that there has been so much, and I'm sure, Adam, I'm sure that you can agree, there's been so much just sadness and negativity kind of throwing all over the place due to COVID. But all of my followers and the people that really know me, there's light in everything as well. And that light is much more powerful. And, Adam, and I'm going to have you tell us a little bit about, your background with your music and performing. For Adam, as he just mentioned, he had this opportunity to really start writing some music and just kind of playing every day. And I think that's how you and I met, because you were very visual, on Facebook every day. I could say the same for myself, as far as really using this kind of platform to help other people and to create and be creative, and to be expressive, right? And so, Adam, tell us a little bit about your background music. Tell us, tell us, tell us what you play.
What, as far as instruments?
As
What I
far as
play?
instruments,
Oh,
yes.
okay. So saxophone is my first instrument, and just a quick background on that. I learned saxophone because my father played it in the military, and I was like, wow, I gotta be like dad, right? So I decided in grade school, when it was time, I said I want to play saxophone, and the band director said, sure, we have a saxophone for you, and that was the beginning. And so I just picked up sax, and then as I went through high school and got into college, I mean, I picked up other instruments along the way. I consider myself a really good Latin percussionist as well. I've learned congas and timbales and all kinds of hand percussion, and that morphed into electronic percussion and sampling. Sampling is, recording any sound and then pulling it up on an electronic musical device, such as a drum pad, for instance. I could record your voice, Lily, and I could put it in my drum pad. And whenever I want to hear your voice and you're not around, I could just hit my drum pad and there you'll be, right? So, right.
That's
So,
great.
yeah.
Uh-oh, I didn't know that.
Of course, right. So we might want to try that. But yeah, and so it goes, real quick, out of just not even out of college, I got the call to tour, and which was really great, with this young female vocalist, Debbie Gibson, who at the time was had her first, just about got her first record together and was ready to hit the road. So she knew this guitar player, and the guitar player knew this bass player, and the bass player knew this drummer, and the drummer I had played with, and so I got the call, and there you go, and the rest is history.
The rest is history.
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
had a great run. You did a world
yeah.
tour for
Mhm.
10 years, maybe?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
I
pretty
mean,
much. And
I was lucky to be on retainer from world tour to world tour. So it kept me grounded, and I knew that when the next record was up and we were ready to hit the road, Deb's management company would call me, or Deb, and she'd say, "Okay, we're gonna hit the road," and that touring was really quite extensive. I mean, we did Australia, Japan, a lot of the Pacific Rim, Southeast Asia, all over the place.
it's tiring.
Well, at 20 something doing all that, I don't know if it was so tiring, but it was just, it was great.
Yeah, of course it is.
Right?
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so I was very fortunate at the time. And then in between that, I toured with Taylor Dane and did some stuff with her, which was great. Again, world tour and all that kind of stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but that's it. So yeah, so to answer your question, saxophone, Latin percussion, electronic percussion, picked up a little keyboards here and there, very little keyboard. Really, the keyboard not as far as playing a piano and entertaining, but using the keyboard as a tool to program and write music. That's
Right.
basically that. Yeah.
Right. Right.
And
And it's funny because when you sometimes when you know of a musician, um, they usually have that their main, I guess, instrument. Is that true? And then maybe they'll play another one or two, right? It's not like,
yeah,
and yeah. Hmm.
well, I mean, if you're musical,
Hmm.
I think there's a lot of musicians out there that they have big ears, right? We always used to say, "Wow, man, that dude's got big ears," and that what that really meant was that um, he could basically mimic what he hears, or he could hear. He doesn't even need music. I mean, I used to get called into studio sessions, and and the producer would say, "Okay, you're going to work on this guy's song. Are you available such and such a date?" And I'd look at my calendar and say, "Yeah, I'm available." And they'd say, "Okay, we're going to send you the track." And I tell them, "Don't send me the track." So he would say, "Why? I mean, why wouldn't you want to hear the track?" Um, and I'd say because it's so fresh. When you just play right then and there. I would listen to the track in the studio half a second, know what key I'm in, and just pick the part where he wants me to play and just blow. And
Yeah, that's
that's what,
perfect.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
It has to be
because
that spontaneous.
of course, because you're
Yeah.
a professional and
Mhm.
you've got that talent to do it. And dance is the same way. That there's of course, yeah. When I was touring, it was all choreographed, of course.
Right.
But there's nothing like that was with dance, but there was nothing like doing theater in New York. And even though it was the same play for weeks and weeks and weeks, it was always fresh
Mm.
because you're not going to wow the audience the same way you did yesterday today. Every single performance is always fresh,
Yes,
and that's the
exactly.
excitement of live performing, live performance. And with acting especially, sometimes you don't know what your acting partner on stage, in that moment, right? You don't know what's they're going to do that's different maybe than yesterday, and
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
But that's nice. I think it's fun when it's fresh.
Yeah, I think it's part of being musical or being artistic, I could say, if it's not a musical
Hmm.
situation, where you're just living in the moment, on the edge until something happens, and then your reaction is spontaneous. So you're actually, you don't know what you're painting, but by the end, you have painted the picture. So, I mean, for me, that's the most exciting part. That's why even if somebody called me for a gig and I never heard this band, but I knew they were good and what have you, and they say, "Hey, you want to, can you do a gig?" And I'd show up fresh. It was always inspiring, and it was always very interesting to me because you didn't know what the band was going to play, and it was fine. It didn't matter, because of the ears.
Yeah, I like that. I like that saying,
Yeah,
oh, he or she has big ears. I
yeah,
love it.
big ears. Yeah,
you
that's
know
what we say.
Now, how would you relate that to seeing like that blank or that empty canvas and seeing that end point with real life, like COVID? When I asked you about how your 2020 went, you were like, well, pre-COVID or after. And it's funny, like how you went into two different sections, if you will. You almost compartmentalized your year in your
Yeah,
head before you
yeah,
explained it, which I found to be very interesting,
yeah,
but not unusual, because most people do say that they go right to the event that just dropped on everyone's laps, right?
right.
And because I call COVID a life event, because it is.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so if you were to take away the compartments, and then now we're at this end point, however many hours, what do we have? 3 hours, right? Now you weren't really able to paint, someone kind of came in and just splatted paint right on your canvas, called COVID-19. So how did you make it a pretty masterpiece anyway by the end of the year?
Yeah, right.
I know that was a deep
Well,
question.
no, no, no. It's very interesting. It's just like if you were a digital artist, right? And you created in the platform of like a computer, right? And you painted a picture, and the picture consisted of millions of pixelated colors, right? Because if you zoom in onto one little area of that picture, and you really look at it, and you could pick it apart. Oh wow, look, there's that color, this, and that, and then you zoom out, and you see even more. So my point is that life is that one big picture, right? But you can really, to your word, compartment. Help me with that.
Compartmentalize.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a rough
Mhm,
one for me.
mhm.
You could really look at it in segments and say, well, this happened here, this happened here, this happened here. But look at the whole picture. Look at where I've become, or what my goal was, or how I wanted the final picture to look. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
no, I do know what you mean.
yeah,
And I agree. And it keeps you on your toes for sure, you
yeah,
know.
mhm,
And it keeps you really it keeps you real. It keeps it real
yeah,
because sometimes we just don't know,
yeah,
what door opens or what's coming through, the constantly open door. I always talk about your door always open, and then infinite possibilities of doors opening and opening and opening and sometimes closing, right? Um, so I have someone, Greg Lacasio, that said he gave up touring life for his kids, but he still
mhm,
plays. So
yeah.
Greg, what do you play? Greg, I'm curious what you play. Basically, we all do that. All of us artists, of course, we give up that life because we have children, right? And well, most people anyway.
Yeah,
And Adam did the same thing.
I did.
Kind of, right, Adam?
Yeah, yeah. After being on the road for 10 years when I was young, 20 something, and at that time, being married and having my first child and then the second one soon thereafter, it was kind of like I had to make that decision to not not do that and stay home for the kids. So
Hmm.
that was a big decision where I thought it was very important for me to be home.
Hmm.
And,
And your
and
children,
of course, I mean,
right?
that's absolutely. And I made that decision, and I got a regular job. I did
It's
because you know
regular.
regular, yeah,
Okay.
because it was important. And yeah, and for the next so many years, that's I had that regular job, and
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
now, of course, the boys are
Hmm.
grown up,
The
right?
boys are grown up.
Oh yeah.
Now it's
Mhm.
back to Adam.
Hitting
Yeah.
the road. Let's do
Hit
it.
the road. Woo! Yeah. Did you ever consider going on the road again?
Yeah, when we were on the road, it was so huge. It was like the Rolling Stones. And what I mean by that is, it was our buses, our semis carrying our gear, going from venue to venue to venue. And it was just at that point, it was just Debbie Gibson, or it was just Taylor Dane, And it wasn't like today, if you go see a show, not today, but just a little.
Yes, I understand.
There was always like three artists on the same bill, or two or
Yeah.
three.
Yeah.
How many shows I've been to Jones Beach, and it's like, you get to see one, two, three artists, and I'm like, wow, it's so different. It's just so I think the whole touring thing, live music, performance with all these bands, it's very different. It changed so much. And so to answer your question, would I ever do it again? It depends. It depends what it would be. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it would have to be really great, and
And it
they have.
depends what they're paying.
Oh, of course. I mean, obviously now there's no live shows to see, but that'll
Yeah.
change eventually, and we'll see
Mhm.
what that brings.
Yeah, of course. And
Yeah.
speaking of no live shows to see, So how did you have to pivot, if you will? I know that you still have your real job, but you do perform, right, with a couple of different bands and on your own.
Yeah.
Um, so then all of a sudden there was really nothing. So what was that like for you to just kind of, not have that outlet to really be creative and just have your real job?
Yeah. Well, that's a good.
Okay, enough said. We heard that loud and clear.
Right, right, right.
Okay.
Well, no, I mean, again, I'll say, during this lull in everyone's lives, because of COVID, I mean, a lot of people reached out to different outlets to basically fill the void, right? I mean,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
some
Yeah.
people hit the gym. Well, not really, but some people maybe hit their own gym in their own homes,
Yeah.
or decided to lose weight by running.
Hmm.
Maybe that became their passion. Whatever. And like for me, playing music is my passion. So I had extra time, and that's what I did. I mean, to keep my mind going, keep me happy, right? So
Oh,
we
yeah.
we all
Yeah.
found different things that we like to do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's really funny because I had, and we'll talk about this in a few minutes, about resolutions or just, kind of a list of things for the new year. One of the things that I had on my short little list, two things were on my list, was to start a podcast. I wanted to create my own podcast and launch a podcast. Um, and funny enough, then COVID hit, right? And I was wondering, how would I find the time to do this? Because I know it's time consuming, but I didn't have to find the time because the universe found the time for me. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, first thing on my list, I launched my podcast. Why? Because I was home with extra time. I was able to focus on it, learn how to do it, and learn how to not just, program it and actually put all the pieces together, but also go out and find people, look for, some great guests and just create it. And so I was able to do that. Um, like from go, right? And it's almost, if we're going to look at the bright side of COVID, of Corona, it's it's these things. The bright side of Corona for me was I was able to launch my podcast. The bright side of Corona was I was able to get out of the city and move into, get out of that craziness in the height of COVID and be in my home, right? The bright side is because we were all home and on social media, I got to meet Marcy, who turned me on to this stuff. And this was a game changer for me. And because of COVID, and I started using this and selling this, I met you.
Right.
So I mean, it's been like,
Sure.
I could, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4. I just listed 4 things off the top of my head that was the brighter side of COVID.
Right. That may not have happened, right?
That would not have happened.
Yeah.
And look, I'm going to be very sensitive. We have all lost people. We have all lost, had seen job loss. We've seen depression. I mean, I'm
Yes.
not making light of the not so bright side.
Of
So I
course.
just want to make that very clear.
Yeah.
But we can't focus on that, right?
Right.
We have to focus on the light. We have to
Absolutely.
focus on the brighter side.
Mhm.
And that's really what this is all about. And so here we are. And we're at the end of 2020. And so what I would put to you and to all of our viewers and listeners is if you were to reflect back, could I ask you to reflect back on what brightness came out of this year instead of reflecting back on the not so bright,
Hmm.
the sadness and, the death. And we've all seen, I just recently, I mean, we all have a story, and
Yeah.
we've all had things go on,
Yeah.
that have
Yeah.
really ripped our hearts out.
Hmm. I mean, I have friends and family affected with COVID now.
Yeah.
So it's a long path for some of them, and it's you know it's not an easy thing. So
It's
we
not
feel
an easy thing.
right.
And so might I add to our viewers, it's really not an easy thing. And I'd like to just put it out there uh, that I am setting an example, and Adam is setting an example of, because Adam or I or either of us had been in contact with someone with COVID, I had decided that, we need to be responsible and just kind of not not be together until, maybe, a couple of days longer or a week or whatever that might be. Um, is it easy? No. But is it hard? Not really. I mean, guys, again, the sun comes out. It's okay. No one's going to die if they're not, right here on a holiday. The bottom line is we want to be really smart, and we want to curb this climate. We want to more than flatten, and we want to bury it, right? And if it's not one thing, it's another. What's interesting to me is when you and I were talking about this yesterday,
Yeah.
um, and you were really honest. You said, look, if you didn't care, I probably would have said, oh, it wouldn't have made a big deal, but it was important to me, and you
Hmm.
respected that, and you definitely understood that. But you did say that you felt, and you might have to kind of fix what I remember, but I recall you saying something to the fact that you felt that this is really a beginning of, like, just a new thing that's going to be all the time, because now there's another type of virus that's coming out, or that came out, from England. You said
Hmm.
that it's supposed to be easier, that we're going to supposedly easier to catch, and so on and so forth.
Right.
Can you kind of elaborate on that?
Yeah. Well, no, just whatever you hear in the media, right? So I heard that a new strain, I think is the proper word, came out of England, and they found somebody in two states here that have it. And what I've learned is they said that it's not that it's going to be any worse than what we have now, but it's just another development of the virus. And now they also said that there's another one that they found that's coming from Africa, or that has arrived in the States from Africa. I'm not sure exactly, but you could check with your local news agencies to see
Yeah.
if that's the case. But
you know
yeah, but it's just like what I was saying, and it was just like a thought. It's so easy, and we're so fragile, and it's so easy for everyone to get ill. I mean, look at the numbers. I mean,
yes.
there's so many people that have been affected by this. It's
Yeah.
absolutely dreadful. And like I said before, I mean, even people in my family and our friends, right,
Yeah.
that have contracted this disease, right?
Hmm.
So, uh, I was just like wondering. I was like, wow, it might be very easy for other viruses to appear in the future. Who knows?
Yeah,
Nobody.
no,
We just have to hope that that's not the case.
yeah, yeah. I
Um,
understood where you were coming from, and I tend to agree. One
mm,
of the things that, I will share and express is, I know that we're all dying to take these masks off. It's
mhm.
super annoying.
Yeah,
It really,
I think I look good with it, actually.
but but it may not be such a terrible thing when you're in larger crowds or, mass transportation and so on and so forth, only because of what you're saying is, it could be a start of, I don't want to call it the new norm,
Yeah.
but for lack of better, term, I guess the new norm, but more of a new awareness of exactly how vulnerable we may or may not be to a specific virus or flu or whatever that's out there. Because we're not all taking care of ourselves really that well. And we're not all really up on doing the things that we need to do to keep a really healthy immune system.
Right.
Or, or maybe we have a compromised immune system for one reason or another. And so we really need to take responsibility for ourselves. And which is why we're doing this live here today instead of right next to each other. And so I just feel like some of the mindset and the heart set that I feel should go into 2020 is really loving on yourself enough to care about yourself so that you do take those measures to not only keep yourself healthy, but in turn, it keeps the planet collectively more healthy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, it's a contribution. I mean, on everybody's part. I mean, if think about it, if everybody took better care of themselves and protected themselves and helped to stop the spread of things like this, I mean, in a whole, like you said, it would be good for the mass, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, so, well, we have a lot of people kind of hanging out and whoever came in new or in the last 10 minutes, if you could put on the feed, yes or no to this question. My question was, do you have at least one thing that you are personally grateful for from 2020? Yes or no? Put it on the feed, please. I'm taking a
Yes.
poll.
Yes, I
Yes for
did.
Adam. Yes, me too. Yes for me too. And as I mentioned, I think I have about 4 that I'm really grateful for. And
Oh
my
yeah.
list can go. My list. My list goes on. And let's talk about that for a moment. I recently, as recent as yesterday, I made a podcast. I put it in my podcast, a meditation, and I also did a Facebook Live yesterday morning. I do my fireside chat with Lily, and one of the things that I kind of was expressing was when we're thinking of resolutions and we're making New Year's resolutions, what does that really mean? Most people, they have this whole big long list. Half the things they know they're not going to do past, forget about the first month. It's the first 15 days, statistically, all those resolutions are all shot within the
Yeah.
first 15 days of January. And we know this because that's what statistics tells us.
Mm.
And so, sometimes we're also putting really hard things on ourselves as well. So we want to be realistic. But if I'm all about setting goals, and and I'm all about putting a date on my goals, and I'm all about manifesting them and accomplishing those goals. And that's what I do, and it's one of the things that I master, and that's why I'm great at coaching, right? But the reason I bring this up is because if you didn't have one resolution or one goal, what I would put to everyone that's listening and viewing is that you do have one, and that would be for 2021. I want to wake up grateful, and I want to go to sleep grateful. So gratitude would be, if you didn't have any resolutions, if you are the type of person that says, I don't do resolutions, they don't work, fine. I honor your belief system. That's fine. But what I would ask you is, let's move that around a little bit. Okay, you don't believe in resolutions, but what if you decided that every single day for 365 days in the morning and 365 days in the evening, you're going to wake up with gratitude and you're going to go to sleep with gratitude? How do you think that would make you feel?
Amen.
And how do you think it would change your life? How do you think it would change your day, your week, your month, your year?
Mhm.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that sounds so like a hallmark, but oh well, it's true.
Yeah,
And
it's a good place to start, I think, for a lot of folks,
mm-hmm,
just that alone,
mm-hmm,
and we all have goals, and we all we make resolutions, like you said, and sometimes we meet them, sometimes we fall short, but I think it's okay to fall short once in a while, as long as you're conscious of that, and you could pick yourself up and just kind of forge ahead, get back on track, because nobody's perfect. We're human, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
No, but no. Yes and no. I, I, yes and no. And what I mean by that is, yes, we are all going to fail, but what I also mean by yes is, yes, we are perfect, because every single decision that we make, or every single turn that we make, or everything that we wind up failing at, is really perfect in the sense that it sets the stage for the success.
Right.
Right.
It does.
I did a podcast with Rabbi Yossi several months ago, and we talked about perfection and the way he got past it, because he was that guy that he had to have everything perfect,
Mm-hmm.
until he decided that everything was perfectly imperfect, is when he got over it, and he just started to really, really, get to the next level.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's a song like that, actually.
Oh, really? Perfectly
Perfectly
imperfect?
imperfect. Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be your
I
homework.
think, yes, some of you people listening could kind of let me know what song that is.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's a country song, actually.
Really? Oh, if anyone knows, put it in the feed. Let us know. There's a little bit of a delay,
Yeah.
but I have it on here. Yeah, put it in the feed. Now I need to know. So Greg said that Greg Lucasio said
Yeah.
that he mostly plays drums, decent guitar player, and bass, a bit of piano and vocals. Wow.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go. Is right. Goodness gracious.
He's got the ears. The big ears.
You've got the ears. If you were listening, you've got the ears.
That's
He's
right.
got the big ears. I love it. Oh, you know what I did, Adam?
Mm-hmm.
Since this whole COVID, since COVID was like affected in your family, now I'm like, okay, what steps can I take to make sure that I'm not going to die somewhere up in my bedroom and I'll be here alone? And so, you want to know what I got?
You got extra locks on the door so I can come visit you?
No.
Okay.
So you know that I've got this inserted, I have this fireplace, right? It's inserted wood burning stove. And I heat the house with this. Now, you guys, everyone that's listening, so December, when was it? 15th? 13th? December 13th, I had my annual Christmas cookie bake-off that I do every year with my son and his girlfriend. Adam joined us this year. We were baking for 5 hours. Oven was on for 5 hours. Everybody left. I go upstairs. I go to sleep. Within an hour that I was in bed, my carbon monoxide detector goes off. It was not a false alarm, folks. So my alarms company calls me and they tell me, I says, yeah, I'm aware. I don't know if it's the battery, but it's a new battery. And they said, no, Lily, it's not the battery. We would know on our end if it's a faulty battery or a low battery. You have carbon monoxide in the house. You have to get out of the house. We have to call they said we have to call the fire department. So P.S. They call the fire department, and I get out of the house, and it was almost like this God stop. Like, wow, I could have not woken up the next day, if I didn't have my carbon monoxide detector, if I didn't have it hooked up to, if I didn't have an alarm system that that's hooked up to central station. So these things are really important as homeowners, and I give this as homeowner tips too, as a real estate salesperson. And the reason why I bring this up is because, so I was thinking now, with COVID, I'm like, okay, what if I'm home sleeping alone and something, I don't know, my asthma kicks in. I was just thinking of ways that I could super protect myself and be ahead of myself and not, make sure that I don't have any kind of loss of oxygen or anything. So do you want to know what I bought? You'll never guess, Adam, but go ahead. Take a guess.
You bought, I don't know.
I just
an
got
oxygen tank.
No.
I don't.
No, but it does have to do with oxygen. So an
air purifier. Did I get it right?
No. Mm-mm.
No.
One more guess.
A scuba outfit. So you have a mask on and.
No, but here's what I got.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone. So, and if everyone goes out to buy this, this company is going to have to pay me a percentage to advertise. No, seriously. So this is what I got. So, I think it's good because, I'm asthmatic and I have this stove and I had the carbon monoxide just for all the reasons. So I just got it a few hours ago in the mail.
Nice.
It's a pulse oximeter.
Oh yeah.
So you put your little finger in.
Yes,
right?
You do. Yeah, I just came back from the doctor for a COVID test.
You see?
And they clamped it on, and it was a nice pink one. And I told the nurse, I said, "Don't you have a blue one?"
Yeah. Well, mine's blue lettering. But you see, so this is going to just a one button operation. I'm going to be able to measure my blood oxygen saturation level and pulse rate. And it's important because what happens is if your blood oxygen level is low, and you don't know it, you could die.
Yeah.
Who knew?
So you're going to try it now?
Well, I was going to try it, but I can't really get it.
You can't open it.
Oh my God. Anyway, so This is my new gadget.
Nice.
This is my new gadget, everyone, for 2021. It can save lives and it can save my life. What do you think about that, Adam?
I think that's great.
Yeah.
Very
so
nice.
Between this and my whole vitamin regimen that I have from Dr. Todd and my gel, I'm going to be sailing.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Maybe that's what you should sing. Maybe that's what you should play tomorrow morning. Sailing.
Oh, yeah.
You play that one good.
Yes, I do. I play that on alto. Yeah.
Yes, you do. Mm-hmm. So I should mention, too, that two things are going to be happening in the morning. I am going to be doing a meditation for 2021. And Adam separately, this is not something we're doing together. And Adam is going to be playing his annual kind of ring in the new year. He'll be playing his saxophone, right, Adam?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So if if I may say so, I will wake up. I will have my water. I'll put on my gel. I'll
Mhm.
have my coffee, and then I'll do this live meditation.
Uh-huh.
Adam will probably roll out
Wake
of
up,
bed, and he likes to
start the
play with the
coffee.
crust still in his eyes.
No, wake up. No, wake up, start the coffee, have the eggs,
Oh yeah, right.
right?
Yes.
Then take my sax out, set up the
Yeah.
mic, record, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Adam's really, he's a believer, and he eats right away when he wakes up. God bless.
Got
Got to do
Yeah.
it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So, okay. So, question. So I don't think I didn't get anyone's feed. All right. So no one wants to say yes or no. That's fine. I do have a question though, for you and for anyone that's listening.
Oh, okay.
So I will ask you first.
Mhm.
So, what will you do more of this coming year in 2021?
Yeah. Yeah, so actually, I was thinking about this for a while. It's funny that you should ask.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
serious. Yeah. Um, I'm gonna do more of what my inner voice tells me that makes me happy.
Oh boy, you've been hanging out with me too much, huh? I
I
love it. I
No,
love this.
no,
I'm so
no,
excited to hear you say that.
because for a lot of my life, and I'm very spontaneous. I'll wake up and I'll say, "Oh, I got to go out east. I got to go to Montauk because I have to, whatever, capture
Mhm.
the moment there, or whatever it is. It doesn't, could be, I could get up and say, I want to ride my
Mhm.
bicycle or motorcycle or play my set, whatever. I want to do more of whatever makes me happy because listen,
In
if you,
a spontaneity, you want to do more of whatever makes you happy, but in a spontaneous way, or just in general?
in general, but
Mhm.
but spontaneity for me is what I'm about. It's kind of like I thrive on that and I live on that.
Yeah, that's why we get along so well.
I don't like plans that much. Plans upset me because a lot of times plans, you know,
They fall apart, and then
and then you're
you're let
disappointed.
down. Of
Yeah, exactly.
course, of
So
course.
I mean, of course, listen. Some things in life have to be planned out. We know that, but
Yes, otherwise we wouldn't be here right now. We do have to
true.
time things. We do have to plan some things. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So to answer your question, yeah, I'm going to do a little more of that, and I'm already, I'm kind of meditating on being more successful, period.
Hmm. That's
And
great.
I mean successful in many areas. It doesn't
Yeah.
be monetarily. It's actually in many different areas for me personally. Successful in my weight reduction, successful in, you know, my relationship, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
right?
That's
And
right.
successful in, where I want to be musically. It's very important, and I know it's a lot if you really think about it, but it's not, because if you do a little bit of each, I think everything kind of will come together. It's just a matter of, thinking about it and it'll come,
Yeah.
you know.
Thinking about it a little bit more than I'm gonna. That's good. I'm just gonna kind of move it a little bit and then add to it a little bit. So you know what you want. Now you're thinking about it. So now you just, you put a plan of action, right? To that. And I love that you see success in different ways, because success is a lifestyle, you guys. Success, I call it even success habits, is should be a lifestyle. right? It doesn't mean just success to your point monetarily, or success to your point just with like business or work. It's everything in life. You know, we want to be successful in all areas of our life. There's like a million different pieces of the pie of life, right? So yeah, 100%. I love that. That's fantastic. That's
Hmm.
great. You know what's really great about it is, you know, sometimes we just kind of, we're speechless when someone asks us, what can you do? What do you want to do more of?
Yeah.
Oh, you know, you know,
Oh,
um,
there's so many things that I want to do more of. I mean, many a morning, especially when I don't have to report to work, let's say, I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh, I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to, and it's just like, even if it's something small, it's something that, makes me happy,
mm-hmm,
and that's
mm-hmm,
important, I mean, it's important for everybody. Everybody has
yeah,
to have some inner peace, inner happiness to thrive,
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm,
there's a lot of things that make me get there, and it could be something as simple as I get up in the morning and it's quiet,
mm-hmm,
and I love quiet because quiet is, to me, it gives you a chance to wake up and be calm, and good way to start your day,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and and maybe a lot of times I get up in the morning, I just open the door. I don't care what temperature it is outside. I stand out on the back porch,
Mm-hmm.
and it could be, well, it could be winter time, it could be summertime, and
Yeah,
just breathe. It's something that makes me happy.
yeah,
Something as simple
yeah.
as
I
that.
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And same. I know that you and I, the first thing we do is like open up all the blinds and, you know, I like to
Right.
let the energy, the light in. And I love to go out and on my back patio as well. Like, and even in the winter, um, not when it's gusting, windy rain, but you know, let's be honest. But I even do, and you do too. We even do like to look at the storms. It's pretty cool. You and I have gone during like a treacherous storm. You and I have, um, we walked right down to the end, right, of my street here, right to the bay. We're checking out the storm, right?
Oh yeah, I love that.
There's something, yeah, there's just something really so much
Mhm.
energy, just so much life is in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
totally get that. So to that end,
Yes.
what time do you think that you would be bringing your saxophone life to us in the morning?
Mm.
Around, just so people know
Pro-
around what time to.
yeah, I think I'm gonna probably post it, maybe 8 or 9 o'clock.
Okay.
I would say, I mean, some of us are gonna stay up until 12
Mm-hmm.
and bring in the new year.
Uh-oh.
I mean, is for me, that's not really like super important.
Mm-hmm.
But some of us like to do that every year,
Yeah.
Um, usually by 12 o'clock, I'm like, but
Yeah.
so I figured, probably get up around 6, and you know, the drill.
I
Start the
know the
coffee, get the
drill.
eggs, get the horn, and
Yep.
then blow it out.
And
Yeah,
shake your tail feathers. That's what Adam
yes,
likes to say.
that's right. Shake
Mm-hmm.
your tail feather.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
do
for
it.
sure.
Time to
If you,
go.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I know what I'm going to say. Uh, I believe I know what I'm going to say. What would you what would you say to our viewers today, and maybe people that are going to kind of log on tomorrow, what would you say to them to bring them some sort of encouragement, and peace for 2021?
Yeah. Well, what would I say? I would say, I would say think about what you could be grateful for, and we spoke about that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
because I think everyone on this planet has something to be grateful for, and it could be something small, it could be something big. Some people have many things, some people have one thing, but just be grateful for that, and and just try to hold on to what makes you happy. Hold on to your family if you have, and your friends. Keep them close by,
Mm-hmm.
and and try to focus on yourself first. Be happy with yourself, I would say. Uh,
Yeah. I love that, Adam,
mm,
because, and anyone that's worked with me, has coached with me, and anyone that follows me, they know that, um, if you're not expressing love for yourself in every single aspect of, you know, your inner self, your outer self, your body, everything, right? Your mind, your mentality, your emotions. If you're not really healthy there and really loving on you, how can you really, express love, on other things and other people?
true.
Um, right? Yeah.
Yes,
And,
absolutely.
so it's kind of like when I say, um, like even uh, like when we met, until you're really feeling whole yourself, it's really difficult when you meet someone else that's not feeling, whole themselves. Are you at maybe different levels? Maybe. Are you vibrating at different frequencies? Maybe, but somewhere you're in that same area of self. So and everyone's individual. And to your point, Adam, look at you. Everyone has their, whether it's a small thing or a large thing or a lot going on or maybe nothing going on, whether you have family or no family, friends or no friends, but hold on to what you do have, so that when you're feeling really whole and really expressing self-love, you can empower those people in your circle of friends and family, um, also to feel that same love and also express your love with them as well. Because if we don't have that, we don't have anything,
True.
right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you have, you know tons of gold under your bed, it doesn't matter.
Right. Helps a little
Because
bit.
it helps. Well, we love it. Yeah, we love to have tons of gold under our bed. But that we can always work toward, right? That we
Yeah.
can work toward.
Mhm.
That we could manifest.
Mhm.
But when it comes to self love, you have to practice it. It takes practice to love yourself. It takes an everyday practice, almost like an everyday ritual, to wake up, be grateful. I remember when my son was a little boy, I bought this book that, I can't think of the name of the actress. She wrote it, and it was all about, I'm going to love me. I'm going to love me. Every page was about how she was going to love herself.
Mm.
And I thought, how, um, it was not even trending, how advanced was that? Because today it's very trendy, right? Self love and, love yourself. But what does
Yeah.
that really mean is when you're teaching that to a child with a book, and that's one thing. But then your child has to see you actually exercise that with yourself. I know we just went into a whole tangent, but it's really true. I mean, Adam, you have grown children. I have grown son. You have two sons. If we treated ourselves like garbage, how would they really learn? What would they grow up like as a young man, right?
Right.
What kind of example would we be showing our children if we, look, they learn from us. right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't even, and not to make anyone that's listening feel bad, if you were really like, really failed in that department while your kids were growing up, that's okay. That was yesterday. You have today to make it right. You have today to just kind of, okay, if you're really living your best life today as an older parent of an adult child, it's fine. At least they see it now,
True.
right? Yeah,
Mhm.
there's always a new slate. We just have to keep turning those stones, right?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't have, I have water, which half of my family does not agree with cheering with
I have.
with water.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So
All right. Well,
so why don't we just kind of wish everyone the best of the best of the best in this moment, and let's not worry. Let's not worry for tomorrow. Let's not worry for an hour from now. Let's just kind of be in this moment, and let's just be really, really grateful for everything that we have right now in this moment. That includes um, living in a country or a world or a part of a world where you're allowed to come onto a platform like this and actually connect, right? And communicate like this, because there are countries that can't do this. So we have a lot to be grateful for.
yep.
And so I would like to invite everyone also to just kind of join in tomorrow. If you find me on a live, just join in on a meditation for 2021. And because I'm kind of starting this, I started that movement in 2020 about confluence of compassion because of COVID. And now that we're kind of into the next year, for 2021, my new movement is learning how to co-create with each other, a new humanity, learning how to co-create a new universe, which I am calling a multiverse, because truly we're really multidimensional. But most of us kind of just see this life as, we just kind of we see things in a linear existence, but we're so much more. And whether you can see it or not, it doesn't matter right now. And whether you believe it or not, it doesn't stop it from being true. So I just want to end with letting everyone know that everything is really brighter than you could see it right now. And if you see everything as bright, great. Then just keep looking toward that light and keep being grateful, and love you all. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thanks, Adam.
Welcome.